Hey, welcome to Bass After Dark. It's December 28th, so quite obviously, this will be our last show of 2023. It's been a challenging year for me, and for a lot of you too, I'm sure. There have been ups and downs, surprises, both good and bad, relationships forged and lost. After a very trying year, the one constant, for me at least, has been bass fishing. It seems that no matter what else is going on in my life, I return to fishing, even when I don't have a rod and reel in my hands. I think about fishing, I talk about fishing, I write about fishing. Ever since I was a teen, my heroes have been bass anglers. And my goals have been fishing related. My work has been in the fishing industry. And my friends have mostly been the people I've met through our sport. To me, the remarkable thing about bass fishing has always been that it allows you to find your own place. You can fish alone with a cane pole and a night crawler on the banks of a small creek or pond. You can fish with friends from a $100,000 bass boat on a giant man-made reservoir using all the latest high-tech gear. Or you can be somewhere in between, which is where most of us go. I sold my first bass fishing article to a national magazine when I was 19. Since then, I've written millions of words on the sport and had them published in dozens of magazines, a few books, and on too many websites to count. I've hosted radio shows and podcasts on bass fishing. I've been featured on television and even in a movie or two about our sport. I've had the privilege to meet many of the most influential people in fishing. I've been very lucky. As part of my work, I've interviewed just about every bass fishing celebrity you'd care to name, but one of those interviews stands out above the rest. I was talking to my first bass fishing hero, Rick Clunn. He was on the cover of the very first Bassmaster magazine I ever saw. He was my introduction to the idea that a person could make a living in the fishing industry. And now I'm honored to call him a friend. If you don't know Rick Clunn, know this. He is one of the most interesting people in bass fishing, and he's the most challenging person I've ever interviewed. You need to bring your A game, not because he's difficult, not at all, but because he thinks very differently than anyone else in the sport. And if you don't bring your wide-angle perspective, you're going to miss something special. 10 or 15 years ago, I was talking with Rick to get some quotes for a technique piece I was doing for Bassmaster.com. I asked him a question that I had probably asked 100 different anglers 100 different times. The question is a regular go-to for me whenever I'm talking with an expert about a technique. I asked Rick, what does the average angler do wrong when he's fishing this method? He said, if he's having fun, he's not doing anything wrong. Of course, that was radically different than how anyone else had ever answered that question. It was also exactly correct. If you're having fun, you're doing it right. If you fish simply to catch fish, you're going to be disappointed quite often. But if we can focus on what brings us joy, we're far more likely to hit that target. It took Rick Clunn to give me that clarity and to cut through the obstacles that we put between ourselves and our goals. Now, I'm no philosopher, and I don't pretend to know the meaning of life, but I have spent some time thinking about it, especially as I get older. What I've come up with is this. We are born, we die. In between, we laugh, we cry, we work, and we play. If we're lucky, we find passions and people who motivate and inspire us. If we're very lucky, we find love. And if we are among the luckiest of all, we fish. I have found meaning through fishing, and it has made all the difference in my life. As we say goodbye to 2023, another bit of Rick Clunn wisdom comes to mind. He said, never believe your best days are behind you. Those are words I try to live by as we head into 2024. Welcome to Bass After Dark, the most illuminating conversation in bass fishing. For the next 90 minutes or so, we're going to show you that inch for inch and pound for pound, this is the best show in bass fishing. And now it's time for my most important duty of the night, and that's introducing my co-host. His favorite song is If I Had a Hammer. Here's Bryan the Carpenter.
That was great, Ken. Uh, I see what you did there. Your most important duty of the night. That makes sense.
No, my
Thank you.
most important task, the most important thing I can do on this show each week is get you on, because you're the key to this thing being as good as it can be.
I'm the only one of the three of us that has any social media at all. So
I wasn't even talking about the social media. I'm talking about
I know,
just making the conversation go, making everything work.
making it awkward.
Exactly. Well, hey, we can't do it without Nathan either, but you guys are the reason it works.
You
I'm,
look
I'm just
comfortable, so that's why I'm afflicting.
I'm just the guy. I'm just the best dressed guy in bass fishing. That's all.
That you are, Ken Duke. That you are.
I'm excited about tonight's show, man. I think we got a great question, um, and I'm really looking forward to digging into it. And let's say this was your idea to do this show tonight, because we've had some not controversial topics, but some topics that I think are really kind of,
Serious?
yeah, very serious. There's been clear, hard fought positions on things lately, and this is kind of a perhaps a lighter look, maybe not.
Exactly. I initially wanted to do a happy, fun hangout, woo. It's the end of the year. Christmas, see you. New Year's is coming. Um, but in talking to some guys, there's some guys that had some legit gripes. So might be a little more serious than I was thinking originally, but I think it's still going to be a blast. Just judging by the social media, everybody's going crazy with their bass fishing pet peeves, and I agreed with almost everybody. So, so
Yeah,
apparently, I
that's
got a lot.
I think we can all identify with just about any gripe any other bass fisherman has ever experienced. But when you came up with
Yeah.
the concept for this show, yeah, it was funny because immediately we were thinking light, funny, but yeah, there's definitely a more serious side to that. And but not only do we have a great question in what is your bass fishing pet peeve, but we got a great thing closer to the end too.
Yes, and before I mention that, um, we're gonna do our best to keep track tonight on Facebook, on the YouTube comments, on the discussions we have with our three expert peevers coming that I'm gonna be introducing here in a minute. And we're gonna attempt to solve this riddle and announce the top 10 or the number one all-time bass fishing pet peeve.
I have no idea what that might be. There's so many,
There's so
but
many.
I'm looking forward to see what the overall winner is. Again, tonight's question: what is your bass fishing pet peeve? And BTC, we got three fabulous guests to hash that out with us.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And right before that, before
Oh,
I introduce them, we have at the end of the show, hang in there. We have our top 10 reasons
that's right.
we're glad 2023 is over. So
Hang
that's
in
our
there for
top
that,
10 at
folks.
the end of the night. Um, and first, the first man into the arena tonight, Ken. What do we call this thing? You got a name for it yet?
What do they call it? Like a cage match? What do they call it?
An
In
octagon,
first
a
guy into
ring,
Thunderdome.
yeah, Thunderdome.
The
All right.
first guest into Thunderdome.
Yes, tonight's first contestant into the Thunderdome. He is a content creator, YouTuber, a commentator for the NPFL, a Bassmaster Classic champion in 1987, and again in 1987. He is wall-to-wall treetop tall, Mr. Fat Cat Newton.
Hey, that's pretty good, man. Appreciate it. Hey,
Welcome,
Bobby
Fat
boy.
Cat.
Listen, Jesus Christ, hush. Hey, that's my dog will periodically pipe up during this interview. Probably. What's up, fellas? Everybody doing good?
Doing
Yeah,
good,
man.
man.
What's your
So
dog's
glad you're
name?
joining us here.
This dog is named River
All
right
right.
now, and the river might dry up if it keeps barking. I can promise you that. Like it's pipe down. What's going on, dude? Why are you guys bothering me and asking me to come on this thing?
You've been too quiet lately, man. That's why.
Dude,
You're gonna land.
I like it. I like it. Dude, please be quiet. For the love of God.
I like it.
Yeah, this is my downtime, dude. I enjoy being quiet. Everybody's it's a cringe fest on social media these days because everybody's just scrounging trying to they feel obligated to put something out, so they're just putting something out. I'm good. I'm just marinating.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
Fat Cat, you're here to lend esteem and prestige to our show and some great pet peeves. But
A lot of
BTC,
pressure. Yeah, who do you got
Not
next,
wrong.
BTC? Let's go.
All right. We have another content creator / YouTuber, former Elite Series Pro, trophy smallmouth guide on the St. Lawrence and Lake Ontario, co-host of a weekly live show on YouTube with our man, Eric, Epic Eric, the
There it is.
Smallmouth Crush podcast. We have Travis Manson.
What's happening? Fat
Look
cat.
at you.
What's up, buddy?
Travis, thanks so much for joining us, man. Taking a break from the big reset to talk pet peeves. We appreciate you, brother.
I don't even know what to say. I'm looking
You're-
forward to the
You're
show.
dressed really well. You're not dressed as well as I am, but you're dressed
No.
really well. I like the look.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I normally just put on whatever I'm wearing when I go do my weekly show, but I thought for this occasion, let's spice it up a little camo and a vest. You can't go wrong with that.
Kind of
Right,
urban guerrilla.
Put on
look.
your
I
life
like
vest
it.
and right in case the flood's coming, right?
That's right.
And even though that's more than enough for any show, BTC, we got one more star coming on.
We got one more. We have a current Elite Series angler. He won his first ever Elite Series tournament. 2 Elite Series wins, 3-time classic champ or classic competitor. Bryan New.
Oh, Bryan New in the house. Look
What's
out,
up?
everybody.
Boy, this is a treat.
Bryan, thanks so much for being here, man. We really appreciate you coming on. You're one of our favorites, and this is gonna be fun.
It better be. Stay up this late. It better be fun. It's past my bedtime.
Good point,
Mine
Bryan.
too.
I like how you think, buddy.
Mine
I
too.
want to start this off right now. My first pet peeve is bass fishermen whining about staying up late.
Ah,
Oh,
there you go.
well, hey, you got to bitch about something.
Well, here we are.
I've heard a lot of bass fishermen complain about getting up early. I know a surprising number of bass pros who tell me they are not morning people. Which is
Yeah,
odd.
that blows my mind.
Yeah. Rick Hunt always told me he was not a morning guy. He doesn't like getting up early. That's not his thing. But
I don't really
they just
enjoy
like
it,
the
but
wine.
it's my job, so I do it.
there you go. Yeah. All right, Fat Cat, you
So wait,
guys,
hold on a second.
yeah, go ahead, man.
So Brian, you don't like getting up early or staying up late?
I mean, I'd rather get up early than stay up late, but I never really enjoy getting up early. I shouldn't say never, but a lot of times
Cheers.
it kind of sucks.
Never say never, buddy. Never give up.
that's good.
Never give up.
All right, you
Never
guys
give
have
up.
had a little bit of time to think about what your biggest pet peeves are. Fat Cat, let's start with you. What's and maybe give us some framework. Maybe it's your biggest pet peeve,
Dude, I
hunt
really
fishing or tournament fishing or whatever.
I don't
Podcast,
even
say it.
Yeah, dude. Nah, well, it's obvious. Yeah, I'm always awkward on podcasts, dude. I don't even the pet peeve thing. Backlashes, is that a pet peeve? I feel like that's
Yeah.
yeah, man. Backlashes suck. This lighting looks. I feel like I'm in the jail. I feel like I'm being interrogated right now. I'm sending this like VHS tape to my mom and dad. Like, please, somebody send money. That's my pet peeve is doo-doo content.
They treating you well?
Yeah. Everything's good, man. I'm good. They're feeding me good. I'm eating good. Yeah, the whole pet peeve thing, dude. I don't have a lot of pet peeves, so I'm probably a great person to come on, and I can find things to complain about. But the pet peeves, as far as I will say one thing that doesn't involve anybody but myself most of the time is tying a knot. Is my pet peeve when the knot gets stuck in the split ring, right in the gap of the split ring. That's probably one of my biggest. I know it's weak. I know it's not what you guys want to hear. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves is being in a hurry to tie a knot when I break off and get the knot in there. Or I don't know. I probably other pet peeves. I can't. My bananas. So the whole thing with bananas, right? You can't bring a banana in a boat, which I think is a joke. My uncle has this. Everywhere he goes, when we're in his boat, he has a banana, but it has a belt. The banana's hooked to a belt. Never mind. Yeah, just bananas and things. I don't know, man. Somebody else go? I don't. Give me some ideas. Give me something to work with, because like making me. I haven't really put much thought to it. If you guys can't tell.
Yeah,
Travis,
no, I couldn't tell. You're hiding
Fat
it good,
Cat.
bud.
Fat
Great
Cat's
topic.
working on it. So Travis, what do you got for a pet peeve, man?
Where do we start? I got a list. I got a.
Oh yeah, let's go, dude. Go.
Do I
Run
just
down
name
it.
them off and then we talk, or what?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
throw one out to the panel. What do
Throw
you
one
got?
out. Let's
What do you
discuss.
got?
Paying for a boat ramp fee to launch a boat.
That sucks.
Somebody's playing tennis on the tennis court, shooting baskets over there, having a picnic on the picnic table. They don't have to pay to use that park, but I gotta put $10 in the honor box just to launch my boat every day. Come on.
That's a great
That's a good
point.
point.
I see a lot of highlights coming off of this, guys. A lot of highlight videos.
All right.
Topic. Like it's
Where I
gonna be-
live in New York, there's 2 counties that have the most ridiculous rules when it comes to smallmouth bass fishing. So that's an issue.
What rules?
What kind of rules you were talking about?
Well, for 6 months out of the year, you can't even catch and release a smallmouth bass in Jefferson or St. Lawrence County. It's a no-no. You can't even go out and fun fish. I know, guys, and here's my pet peeve, really. I mean, I follow the rules most of the time. I've got 2 citations.
Oh, we know about you and rules.
Gray
buddy.
areas. It's gray areas, okay? I didn't know you couldn't fish for salmon next to a fish ladder, but whatever. My point is, there's guys that are going to go out in May and catch a bunch of big smallmouth on the St. Lawrence River, and they get away with it. Like, it's illegal to do. I cannot do it. I mean, if people see me out there, even people on the shoreline, the homeowners, if they see a bass boat, they're going to start yelling, saying something. Hey, don't you know smallmouth fishing's closed? So it's literally closed the last day in November through like the 3rd week in June, just in these 2 counties. Anywhere else in upstate New York, you can fish year round, catch and release. Pretty much everywhere else, I believe, in the country. To be honest,
Canada's the same way.
What's that? Canada? Yeah. Well, Canada's a total different country, but you know what I mean.
It's like a different country. On there,
Yeah. So
So
we
you're in
got
Canada.
that. We got weed police. That's another issue I have.
Weed police?
Yeah,
The
the
weed police.
Cheap Trick did a song about that. I remember that.
Yeah. All right.
What's weed police?
So the weed police, it's going to be a kid, college student, whatever. He's going to have like an orange vest, and he's going to sit there at the boat ramp, and you're going to pull in. You're going to get your truck, and all you want to do is go home. You had a rough day.
That kind of weed.
Different kind of weed. Yeah, different kind of
Yeah,
weed.
yeah. So he's
right.
going to come up, and he's going to
I know
check
what
your
you're talking
boat
about
for
now.
weed, right? Milfoil, eelgrass, whatever it is. Even though
Right.
the guy seen me the
Ganja.
day before,
Colombian gold.
he's going
Right.
to go through his routine. He's going to ask me a bunch of questions. He's going to ask me where my boat's been, how long it's been in the water, where I plan on going next. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal for me.
That is a big deal.
Well,
That's got to
the
be
weed
frustrating.
That's when you
police.
forget how to speak English.
Ah,
You look
genius,
French
Bryan
tonight,
knew.
but Travis, by the
Genius.
way.
What's that?
You kind of look French with that beard thing. When'd you
Yeah,
get that?
He
It's
looks
my
like a-
first time ever having a beard, so I'm learning. I
He looks
just
like a
bought some
French
beard
Canadian
oil
trapper.
and one of those what is it, ox brushes or whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I still haven't had a beard.
Yeah. Anyways,
Still waiting.
so I don't want to keep going. I mean, I'm sure.
No,
Bryan
please.
got-
Keep,
We're gonna get back to it, but let's talk to Bryan New for a minute. Bryan
Brian, you
New,
got it.
sitting there in the town that I grew up in, actually,
Oh.
and Bryan, give me a tournament pet peeve. Give me a.
What
give
are
me
the weed
something that-
police like there, bro?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the weed police anymore these days,
Fair
but
Okay.
yeah, I've got a list too. Kind of like, we can go all over the place, but the first thing that popped in my head, when you invited me on with this topic was a messy boat. A lot of people, a lot of very successful tournament anglers, their boat is just a disastrous wreck, and it drives me absolutely crazy. If I have a co-angler or fishing a team tournament, just fishing in general, and somebody's in my boat and they clip off their line and throw it in the floor, I've got to stop what I'm doing and go pick it up.
that sounds like obsessive compulsive, Bryan.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I've got a lot of disorders, is what my wife said. But
If a co-angler gets in your boat and he's got muddy shoes or something like that, is
Oh,
that?
Yeah, it's not going to be a good start to the day. I'm pretty easy going. Just don't cross the line. Some people just don't know where that line is.
What about when the co-angler pulls out a little jar of Spike It? Do you tense up or do you tell? How do you handle that?
Hey, as long as he's got deep pockets, I don't care. You know, I don't that it don't bother me as long as he don't spill it. If he spills it, it's going to bother me for sure.
Dude, I gotta get you in Ike and Ellie's boat someday.
Oh God,
Especially like after like 3 events.
Yeah, you're
And
probably
it's,
gonna have
you
to
know.
call the weed police after that because you know
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. I've been around this boat. Haven't been in it like you have, but yeah, it is a mess. But it works for him, you know. He's won a classic and everything else, and yeah, it works for him. You got to do what works for you. Messy does not work.
Travis, what about you? You fish a lot of tournaments. You're out there guiding. You got clients. You can't have a messy boat, I'm sure.
No, I keep a pretty clean rig for sure. And I guess I just don't let that stuff bother me. I guess like I'm at the some guides will yell at their clients, right? I am not
really
one of them. I don't get mad. I get mad like internally, but I don't express it, right? So I guess the biggest thing, and even friends of mine, when they come on the boat, I guess really, and this wasn't on my list, but this is kind of a big deal now that I think about it. I'm actually getting a little infuriated thinking because I remember a few times, okay, when you're getting on the boat, a lot of times I'm positioning it by the dock. I'm holding it off the dock so it doesn't hit. There might be a little bit of wind, so I'm just kind of positioning the boat properly for people to get on. And some dudes decides to jump, 4 feet up onto the deck, just pile drives the boat. That bothers me, right? So that's like not a good sign when people just, we've all been there, right? You've heard that before. They just jump on the boat. I guess that's kind of a big deal. Stepping on your rods, things like that. But that's part of the game. I don't really let that get to me too much. I mean, I break on average 2 to 3 rods a month, maybe more, guiding. And so I'm just used to it. I know that person probably feels bad, right? So I just say, well, it is what it is. A lot of people offer to pay or replace it. And luckily I use St. Croix rods, so they're all, lifetime warranty, but it's, it all adds up, right? It's definitely a pet peeve. I'm not vocal about it like I am some of these other things.
How do you internalize it? What's your move?
It's just anger inside, bro. Right?
You don't like punch it, on a pillow you punch or something like that.
And then Monday nights after 10:30, when Epic Eric allows me to go on a rant, I let it all out.
Did you like being introduced as a co-host?
I didn't even catch that. No.
Oh, damn it.
That's okay.
All right, Fat Cat.
I like it.
You're not just a fisherman. You're also a guy who's out there with NPFL doing some fabulous commentary. That has got to be an entirely different dimension for you. Surely there's a pet peeve that you have that gets in the way of your delivering the commentary you want to deliver. Maybe it's an angler who doesn't want you to get too close to him. Maybe it's anglers telling you, hey, don't give this up, keep this part a secret or something like that. Give me that part of your world and a pet peeve for it.
Dude, it's gonna be hard to get me. Dude, I don't even know. What you said, of course, those are things that can be frustrating at times, not giving you the juice. Dude, I'm not your guy. I don't have a lot of negative things to say about stuff like that. I know it sucks, and I'm probably a party pooper right now, but I really don't know. I don't even know what to bitch about right now. I mean, I honestly, when it comes to that kind of stuff,
bitch about getting asked to come on podcasts.
Yeah, that could be one thing, dude. I mean, listen, I'm flattered. I like being asked to come onto the podcast. Coming onto the podcast is a whole other thing. Like, I don't even know what to say right now. Like, the whole fishing community right now is there's enough negative stuff going on. So I really don't have anything I want to add to it. If I'm being honest, like, it's just It's just crazy right now, bro. I mean, like my pet peeve, like we'll try pissing in my boat. If you're gonna use the bathroom, piss on the side of my boat, not in the back of my boat or in my live well. I'd appreciate that.
That guy in the comments, Slay Nation, he goes, what if a co-angler actually takes a wee-wee and a few drops get on the gel coat? Yes, I think, dude, if you're
happens, grab a bottle of water, grab it and splash it off.
Pee off the side of the boat. Don't piss on. I'm going to wipe that down after the trip. I'm going to clean that, and I don't want to be cleaning your piss.
Bryan?
Hey, not everybody can reach the outside.
Some people may be working with shorter rods.
Yeah,
dude.
Pistol grip.
Nope.
That's it, dude. Yeah, and I mean, if you're gonna take a lunker dump, just fill the live well up full of water first. Don't dry box it. Get some water in it, and we can scoop it out. You know what I mean?
That don't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been there.
No, dude. And as far as like, I guess on the water, etiquette could be a thing for me. Fishing on the Potomac River gets a little crowded. Like I'm sure, like Bryan down there around the Carolinas, Travis up north, you get stacked up in the community holes and one thing we do deal with on the Potomac, being our fishing seasons year round pretty much, are the folks that come from up north, like Travis was saying, where the window of time is much more narrow. So when their bass season isn't in up top, they'll come down to the Potomac, and then they I haven't dealt with it in a few years now, but there have been times when the bass start moving into community holes up to spawn, like an Akapo down around Aquia, things like that, the big community holes, that you look for the boat numbers. And if the boat numbers don't have a VA or MD, and it's got like a NJ or the whatever the north numbers, you better protect your stuff because they're going to come in on you. That's how y'all drive. When I see a Jersey tag on the road, I got both hands on the wheel and I'm watching out. Just like when I'm on the water, man. Y'all are pirates.
Yeah. So but I'm gonna come at you. I'm gonna come at you straight ahead, not around behind you. Like you guys do.
Pirates.
That's
a
great
big
at you.
pet peeve of mine. Just fun fishing. It doesn't really bother me that much. Just because I'm fortunate enough I get to do this for a living. So when I'm fun fishing, that's what I'm doing. I'm fun fishing. Now I'm also trying to learn more and this and that, but hey, if this guy that only gets to fish on the weekends or every now and again wants to come out and he wants to fish this place, it doesn't really bother me that bad. But in a tournament, it bothers me big time. And if we're practicing for a tournament, it's another competitor, that's big time. Yeah, that's not cool. And what's sad is nowadays, all these ledge tournaments that's been 10 years or more going on, not really as much anymore, but it seems like that's all anybody wanted to cover was these big groups of boats sitting boat to boat. And the guy sitting at home, the kids sitting at home watching that, they think it's okay, and it's not okay to just pull up on somebody. Now, am I saying that I've never pulled up and fished beside somebody? I have, yes, of course. But you pull up and say, hey, do you mind if I come in? And if they say no, you don't. If they say you do, yeah, come on in. Once you tell me, yes, I can come in with you, at that point, if I'm on a place that you want to come in on, come on in. You don't even have to ask me. But if you tell me no, don't even think about pulling in on me.
All right. Bryan, that's a really interesting point. Give me a pet peeve of yours that rises to the level. Travis was talking about internalizing some of the anger when a guide client jumps into his boat or steps on a rod or something. Give me an example of a pet peeve where if somebody violates it, you're going to come at them. You're going to say something about it.
Yeah, I mean, somebody cutting me off, pulling in front of me, a pirate. If you're a pirate, I'm going to blow my fuse. And I did this year at Lake Seminole, and yeah, it wasn't a good deal. I messed up and stopped too soon. Is a little small patch of reed heads. I had a ton of, pad stems. I had 5 or 6 bites on in practice, and I'm rolling in there. I see it. I stop. I sit down. I'm fishing. Iconelli's about 100 yards down, And
Uh-oh, Jersey guy.
well, then I realized, I was like, where's the little reed head that was
There you go.
beside the pad stems? And then I look, and it's about halfway between me and Iconelli. So I kind of start fishing my way a little quicker to it. And about that time, another elite angler pulled right in between us. And yeah, I blew my fuse. And in the meantime, Iconelli kicks it on high and gets there and sits there for 3 days, makes the top 10. And he didn't do anything wrong. This other angler, on the other hand, did. And luckily, though.
What's his name? What's the son of a bitch's name?
Say his name.
He lives in Alabama.
Uh-oh.
That's half the elite field, Brian.
That
Come
is
on,
half.
Alabama.
What's it
Yeah.
rhyme
Huckleberry.
What?
with? Ah, yeah. You got a
Yeah.
reputation for that.
But no, if the shoe fits, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
Allegedly.
All right, Travis, you're internalizing a lot of these, a lot of the anger from pet peeves. Give me one that makes you speak out.
Yeah, you look irate right now, Travis. Let it out.
Ready? Where were we? Paying for a boat. We did that. Weed police, New York laws, keeping 2 fish in a live well for a picture. Well, I didn't say that one. Okay, so, but I got some better ones. Let's go right to like what nobody wants to talk about. My pet peeve is that there's fans that watch the elites, that watch the MLF, that watch professional fishermen, anglers, and they will do very well, right, in the tournament, and they think it's all skill. My biggest pet peeve is the fact that there is a lot of information after the rules that anglers are getting, and nobody seems to be talking about that. If you want to talk at the tournament level, at the higher level, I mean, you guys know I'm pretty vocal about stuff. I tell you how I feel. I mean, I've had touring level pros, guys that you know that you watch every week, contact me well within the off limits asking for information. So it happens. And nobody seems to want to talk about that. And that just blows my mind that goes on.
That's on my list as well.
Okay, guys, thank you. You hit on one of my pet peeves. I'm looking at this obviously from a very different perspective than a competitor, which is what you guys were. You guys were among the very best and out there fishing against the very best. As a media person, as the former senior editor of BASS Publications for a long time, I would have guys come to me and say, oh, so-and-so violated this rule or that rule. I say, well, step right up. I want to take you to the tournament director and let's get this guy punished for this. No, I don't want to be that guy. And I can't.
That's the problem.
It drove me crazy that no one would follow through. And all I wanted to say to him after that was, STFU. If you're not going to follow through, I don't want to hear any more about it. That was my pet peeve from a whole different angle, because I want to see these guys who violate the rules punished and penalized. And there's no transparency in our sport at that level. And that's an issue too. Because guys fail polygraphs all the time.
Yeah.
And if they're penalized at all, it's usually a monetary slap on the wrist.
Dude, look
move
at Bernard. I asked him if he wanted to come on, and he said yes. Obviously lying.
Listen, put me on a polygraph.
Anyway,
What's the fine? I'll pay.
So I'm right there with you, Travis. That's a pet peeve for me, cheating. And Brian, I think you just agreed with me that there's not a ton of follow through among the anglers who see the cheating.
Yeah, if you know about it and you don't report it, you're part of the problem. And so I had an angler that I considered a friend, not necessarily a great friend, but a friend. I never had any issues with him. That fished the FLW, whatever it is now, and 2 years ago called me up, was at the Potomac River, and was asking me for information. Well, that year they were under a just same rules as us. As soon as the schedule's announced, no information. Or maybe it was a January 1st deal, whatever it was 100% no information. And we're just kind of general conversation. And he says, well, what do I need to be looking for up here and this, that? And he kind of caught me off guard because this is not my best buddy, but a friend, you know? So it's like, you put me in a bind. So I kind of jibber jabber, didn't know what to say. And I was like, dude, you can't get information. And I swear to God, he said, you know what? You're right. You're right. Well, you're the only person I've called. So, you know, I haven't got any info. Well, I hung up, thought about it for a couple minutes, and I called Daniel Fennell, which is the tournament director. And yeah, nothing was done about it. But that being
What does
said,
that angler's name rhyme with, Bry?
Canada. It doesn't necessarily rhyme with Canada.
Carry on.
Dude, that is a pet peeve, though, of just people that put you in that position, whether it's that or anything else. Just because now you're tied up in something you don't even want to be involved in, but you have to. You're forced,
Yeah,
to relay that to the powers that be. If not, like you said, you're guilty as he is, especially if you know what's wrong, or even if you don't even know for sure, you still have to do it in case you're put in a situation where you do have to take that polygraph.
you know, a lot of guys say if you're not playing in the gray, you're not playing, or you're not working hard enough. That's bullshit. Every one of us know what's right and wrong, and I want to win as bad as everybody out there. I want to win every title there is as bad as everybody out there, but I'm not going to do what I truly know in my mind is not right to do so. It's just, I mean,
temptation, dude. Temptation is a powerful thing, and we've seen it take a hold of some people that we thought were not. I mean, we have seen some guys in the past few years make some very, very poor judgments to where we wouldn't have thought they were going to, and we just dealt with. We saw it last year to where I don't even know if it's a reflection of their character or just in the heat of the moment. They want it so bad that they make that decision in that split second, knowing they shouldn't, but still do. And then it's irreversible, and it's tainted their reputation for as long as they're in the sport. These guys have to carry that to where I don't necessarily want to call them a cheater, but they definitely but they cheat. I don't know,
They
man.
should have to wear a scarlet jersey.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Fat Cat, what frustrates me about that is kind of the flip side of that same coin. All the guys out there who enjoy this sparkling reputation and have had a lot of success, but every one of us on this show knows their reputation behind the scenes as a cheater, as a rule violator.
Oh, that's, dude, I will say one thing
Dang,
about my dude. It really is, because I can say from someone that got into this industry from 100% fan, and it got to the point to where it was a nice, juicy, very delicious apple that I kind of bit too much into, and I got a bad taste in my mouth because I got too far in, and I got to see some of the things you're talking about, to where some of the people I thought who they were, and then I got to get on the inside and see that they weren't actually who they portrayed to be. I mean, dude, but that's business, and to a certain extent. I mean, not justifying it, but I think that goes on anywhere, anything you do. That's just, people are chameleons. They'll to your face, they'll butter your biscuit, and then they'll turn your back and they'll burn your toast.
I think it's the biggest thing is the guys like us that have the insides, and I have two connections. Like I want, what do you call them? What do you call that?
Consigliere.
No, like your I don't know, the guy you talk to get the info. What's that guy called?
Your inside
medicine man.
Insider. I got two insiders in this industry that trust me, and they know I don't name names, but I will be vocal about stuff. And you know, we talked about the I guess the information rule, but then we also, and from a fans and the insiders, like the fans are looking at these anglers and like, man, I cannot believe he was able to do that. This is crazy. You know, I want to be like him. I want to be able to fish like him, but they don't know the behind the scenes stuff. They don't know that this dude, you know, went out with half a dozen guides, has been on these lakes for months, has a huge bank account that's supporting this mission in order for him to qualify. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the biggest pet peeve is the fans don't realize what's really going on inside the industry. Nobody's talking about that. And another one, just thinking about is a lot of times egos get in the way. And, just two examples one main example that I have, I know I personally was able to get 2 anglers in the Elite Series based off of information I gave them for the Opens. And not that I needed anything in return back for it. I did kind of need a barge that was on the Potomac, and I never got it from them after the fact. But my point is, there's a lot of that going on. And like me, if someone gave me some juice and I was able to do well in the tournament, I'd let you guys know on my show, hey, this dude hooked me up. I told you guys Eric's hooked me up plenty of times in tournaments with information and things like that when it's legal. And it seems like some of these guys' egos, they never, not that I'm looking for that, but if it happened to me a few times, I'm sure there's dozens of stories like that out there.
Yeah, and you say that there's nothing wrong with that. I disagree. If me and you are buddies, or maybe we're acquaintances or whatever, and I call you and ask you for information in a tournament that it's legal before off limits, nothing wrong with that. But when I call you and say, hey, I'll give you $5,000 for all your waypoints, there is something wrong with that. And there was definitely people that qualified for the elites this year that they did it. Their daddy used to fish and they did it. And yeah, I'm not okay with that at all.
And the problem is, none of these tournament organizations, when these things happen, they don't want to broadcast it, right? Because it looks bad for their organization. So they're not going to say it. Nobody's going to hear about it except the people that are on the inside. And then you get little droplets of information here and there, and then rumors start, and then we really don't know the truth. Like, there's a dozen guys right now I'd love to know the truth about.
Yeah, and so we all hear these rumors, and we know they're probably true, but a lot of them are not facts. And the one angler that I'm speaking of, you don't know that it's fact. Maybe you do, but I personally know that it's a fact. And about buying information. And not only that, they knew they were going to qualify for the elites. The schedule's announced. They've got several months before they actually qualify for the elites. I don't know for a fact that they went and bought information for that, but yeah, they did.
Sure.
Yeah, the lack of what we're talking about, part of the big problem here is the lack of transparency. The leagues don't want to tell the story. And I think it all boils down to how weak the sport really is. The sport is trying to support multiple leagues. That's a challenge. The pie has really not grown any for sponsorships and money in decades. And yet there are more forks on the table than there have ever been before. The economy is at a challenging time. Plus, there's no outlet to tell these stories. If somebody wanted to tell the story about an angler who had a problem with rules violations or a cheating scandal or something like that, nobody's going to publish it. Certainly, the leagues don't want to publish that story because it makes them look bad. If you publish a story about an angler, his sponsors are going to get pissed off, and then the money's not going to go to the leagues and so forth. So it winds up being this vicious cycle. This vicious conspiracy of silence.
Yeah, and it's sad that it's that way because, a lot of that controversy is what makes all these other sports so big. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why we're not riding that same pony.
Well, I think the problem, Bryan, is the money. Just as money is the evil, it prevents people from telling the open story. If your sport is strong enough, if you're the NFL, there's an entire cottage industry of people who want to do nothing but tell stories about NFL players with drug and alcohol and spousal abuse problems. There's an audience for that. There's a market for that.
So this everything we're talking about is kind of a pet peeve of mine right now. Like the current climate of professional fishing, it's just trash. All the content put out is about what the fishing world's doing. Like everything we're talking about right now is not productive really to what. If we're really trying to help professional bass fishing right now, I don't know, dude. It's just everything right now, YouTube, social media, everything, whether it's just political, whether it's forward-facing sonar against non-forward-facing sonar, whether it's kayak bass fishing against bass fishing, whether it's league against league, whether it's this against that, it sucks, dude. And all we're doing is just this. We're just digging our own grave, dude, because we're all at each other. Everybody's at each other right now. We don't realize, as a whole, our industry, we jam living creatures in the face with cold steel. If we don't realize what we do, we talk about being at the Olympics. We talk about we want to take the sport to the next level. We want it to what it was. We can't even get along. We can't even get along. So how in the hell are we going to get to the next level when nobody's helping anybody, dude? Nobody's picking anybody up. All we're doing is tearing each other down. Dude, it gets me worked up because I know, like, I am been part of, like, the content I've made. I've always tried to make jokes of myself and make jokes what goes on within the industry. But dude, like right now within the bass fishing industry, like it's scary, dude. And none of us are really doing anything to help. Like we're talking about right now, we need more content about what's bad in the industry. No, we don't. Some of these things are bad and they do need to be brought to attention. But on the other hand, we need to find out a delicate way to do it and maintain what we have before it gets worse. And there is no more, because it's not getting better. It's really not. And I think this doesn't help.
Well, this conversation wasn't designed to go into the.
Oh, I know that. I know, dude, but it's just what's been on my mind. And it's kind of like the pet peeve thing and the negative tone. Like, nothing against you guys. I love the show. I love what you guys are doing. But it's just like, it's just
damn, dude. Anti-forward facing sonar, fat cat.
I'm just trying. No, dude, I don't care. I don't even own forward facing sonar. I enjoy it. I mean, there's all, we can all live together. We can all live together.
The whole world nowadays.
That's the thing.
It is, dude. I just want to be happy. It is.
It's a pitiful.
B, that was good, man.
Sorry world.
Would all of us agree?
A world like this.
Would all of us agree that a pet peeve would be the forward-facing sonar debate? No matter what side you're on, isn't it getting old?
I didn't want to hear about it 3 months ago. I was so sick of hearing about it. It's here.
Well, let's talk about it.
No, let's not. Come on.
I think it's just because it has, honestly, it's become more political. Like, it's become just like to where you have people that are for it or against it just because somebody they like is for it or against it with no logic behind it. You have guys that would never own it. It's just, this too shall soon pass and there'll be something else. But the forward facing sonar, we do as a sport need to kind of figure out something, because it does affect. We've talked, you and I talked about it, Brian, like back in the day, like growing up watching bass fishing. I'm from like White Oak. I'm from a tidal area, right? I want to watch largemouth bass get caught and all that. So whenever they would go north and jack smallies, I didn't care. Like watching a hunting show, I want to see them shoot whitetail for shooting elk. I don't care. So like that swing of the tour, I was never really on it anyways, just because that style of fishing doesn't fit me. Unlike you, Travis, you're all about that offshore life and you can do it, but I think it's always been a drop off.
I would not launch my boat without forward facing sonar to chase deep water smallmouth. I'd find another activity. I would not waste my time. I want to set the hook when I go fishing.
And your clients benefit from it. You're able to give your clients a much better time.
The hook when I go fishing. I don't want to look at the scenery, look at the water all day long. I want to set the hook, enjoy my day, catch fish, put fish in the boat, and move on with my life. I don't want to.
But it has changed the dynamic.
There's a fish that's going to bite.
It has changed the dynamic of our sport, though. It has changed the dynamic of our sport, especially for the viewers at home. Like it is taking an effect on on the sport that we love. I mean, it's so. I don't know.
So my opinion on all this, and it has to do with the forward-facing thing in between you two guys right there, and the things we were talking about earlier with bringing things to light, but not bringing them to light because it causes negativity. Like the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? I mean, look at the politics today. You got this side doing that and that side doing that. The truth is somewhere in the middle. With the forward-facing thing, I think there is an honest discussion that could happen about potential limits. Flat out banning it, probably a stupid idea. But what is coming, like what we're going to see on guys' boats this year, might be a little bit egregious. And so I think there's maybe an honest discussion about limitations on it. Back to what we were talking about before. I think,
Dude, isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy that you can have that kind of technology on your boat, but you can't throw an A-rig? Like,
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
what are we
that's
talking
stupid.
about right now? It's wild.
That's
I agree
stupid.
with
Yeah.
that.
right, you could change a
Power
kid's gender, but they
What
can't
do you
get a
think?
tattoo.
What do
You
you
know what I
think,
mean?
Brian? New. What do you think about that? You got forward facing sonar, but no A-rig. Does that? I mean,
No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And here's where I'm at, and this is all I'm going to say because I'm sick of hearing about the freaking scope. But I'm not. I do it. I did it all day today. I'm going to do it all day Saturday.
Cooper.
And I don't love it, but I'm not a hater. It's here. It's here to stay. Like, let's move on. Let's adapt. Let's do our job, and let's move on. That's it. I'm done talking about it. Y'all can talk about it, but I'm not.
Brian, I got one question for you regarding it. One question. Do you
All right.
think there's a conversation about potential limits?
I think what you're going to see this year, there'll be a limit next year.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian
It'll
knew I got a
never- I
question
don't think
for
it'll
you.
ever be banned.
No,
Nah.
no,
I don't understand.
no.
And listen,
No. And I
Ken-
don't think it should.
Nah.
Humminbird,
Ken's got a
Garmin,
point to make.
Lowrance, it will never be banned.
And then let's move on. Let's stop talking for. I guess
Yeah, let's
none
bitch
of
about something
us
else.
want to talk
All
about
right,
it.
let's
Let's
change
do
gears
that.
a little bit. Coming back to Brian New for a moment. All right, Brian, we know a little bit about your pet peeves.
What
little bit
grinds
about
your
pet
gears,
cats.
Brian?
No. That's not
I'm
my
sorry.
question.
A lot.
Travis's lengthy list of pet peeves, which we'll be here for a couple hours to go through those. I love that. Have you ever been able to turn somebody else's pet peeves against them to use as your offense in a tournament?
I'm sure I have, but I can't put a thumb on it. You know, now co-angling, back on my co-angling days, I had some I had some stuff that I did. Yeah, for sure.
I can tell you, I went out to an MLF event in the early days of MLF, and I was talking to the late great Aaron Martins, and one of his great friends is Ott Defo, and Aaron was getting everything just so meticulous in his boat. You know, Brian, you were talking about how organized you like your boat to be, and Aaron was as meticulous as anybody I ever saw, and he was looking in the center storage on the bow, and he'd gotten all his gear lined up, and he had some hook hangers and stuff in the lid, underside of the lid, and he's getting it all just so. And then he excused himself for a few minutes to go to the bathroom or something back in the hotel room, and Odd immediately jumped in his boat and started rearranging everything, which I thought was hilarious. And Odd's got a great sense of humor, but I'm sure Aaron would have been ready to wring his neck when he got back and saw that. So I thought of that as a kind of funny little gamesmanship that Ott was playing.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
Yeah. How about you, Travis? Have you ever tried to take anybody off their game by exploiting their pet peeve?
Well, the banana things that we talked about earlier, I've had plenty of people, if I have a banana on the boat, and I remember time and time again, we've caught fish with it. It doesn't, it's just a superstition. There's
Check
a
your
lot
phone.
of superstitions. So
B, check your phone.
all right, dude, don't holler at me, Jesus.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. And to the banana thing, Travis, I remember, I think it was the 1982 Classic that was won by Paul Elias. Somebody had grabbed his cap that he was going to wear on the last day or something and written the number 13 on it a couple of times. I can't remember who did that. Might have been Denny Brower or something like that, or Larry Nixon, somebody just playing a prank on him because he knew he had a thing about the number 13, wouldn't have 13 rods in his boat or something like that. And that might have been back in the era when you could only have 5 or 6, but he was trying to take him off his game. I know guys who hide bananas in other pros' boats and things like that. And I think that's hilarious. Anybody who's that superstitious is setting themselves up for that kind of prank.
right.
I did that on the Delaware, threw a banana in Mike Centaur's boat, and he went out and he won the event, blew it away, and brought in one about 6.5 pounds that I've never seen a fish that big in the Delaware.
Did you start putting a banana in your boat?
Yeah.
I put it in my pants, my boat, everywhere after that.
Deal.
From that day forward.
Listen, I got one here. Fat Cat and Brian's thoughts on this. Swing for
Yeah.
the fences. I'm going to go swing for the fences.
Yeah, I think it's kind of dumb, but at the same time, you know, it has a little bit of reality sometimes. I think if you're so far, like at the Classic this year, I was going into day 3. I was the last man in, 25. I literally was out of fish. I literally didn't have a whole lot of fish because I was the last man in, and I couldn't go anywhere but up. So I made the longest run somewhere I'd never been, and I didn't catch a limit, but I had like 10 pounds on 3 fish on that shithole that we were at. And so I was swinging for the fences that day. I mean, I didn't really have a chance at winning, but I had the chance to move up and make some more money. Now, where you're going with it, I'm sure we all swing for the fence every day. I don't agree with that. Sometimes we play it safe. But if what I say swing for the fences is kind of like a out there, something that's probably not going to happen, but it could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a phrase you hear probably too often, but I totally get where Brian's coming from that. You make a long run, you go to an area where you're not expecting that many bites, but you figure there'll be quality bites. You decide to throw a swim bait or a buzz bait all day instead of a finesse worm,
He
dude.
He gave a different perspective on that, because I always assumed it was more of an excuse when guys go out. And it's mostly by the guys that have non-elite. Here's another pet peeve. Non-elite, non-MFL anglers that have their boats and trucks wrapped. Now, I'm sure there's situations where maybe you have a family friend that's paying you 10 grand to go fish your ABA tour to give you your wrapped boat. But a lot of times it's ego and you want to look like a pro, right? You want to play the part. And I get it. Fake it till you make it. I was a patch pirate in the beginning. I had my first jersey in 2006. I fished the first ever Bassmaster Elite Series tournament on Lake Amistad as a co-angler. And I had a jersey in 06 or 07, that tournament-ish one. And I looked better than the pros that first year. I mean, jersey started going, 07, 08. By 2013, everybody had a jersey. And listen, there's different situations, but there's a lot of, I guess I'm going to call them wannabes. There's guys that they never catch them, but they got the wrap boat. If you're that good, you don't want a wrap boat. You don't want people to see where you're at every day on the water. Like, that's like having a bullseye on your back if you're a good angler with a wrap boat. Where are you guys at with that?
I'm mixed, dude. So let me ask you a question. Back in 06, why did you get a jersey? Why were you one of the guys?
Fake it till you make it.
Did it make you feel? Did you feel like you were a part of something when you did that? And do you feel like you hurt anybody by doing that?
No.
Well, I was just asking because you talk to some guys and they feel like it's, when you're giving that free sponsorship away, it's taking money away from guys that actually get paid to be sponsored by some.
I didn't think of it like that.
Well, that's how some guys think of it.
Me when my buddies kept asking me to go get like a reaction ovations, sweet beavers, because I had reaction ovations on my chest. They're like, man, can you hook me up with a deal? I'm like, I had to buy the guy a bunch of reaction ovations to pretend I was sponsored by them in 2006. That's the truth, man.
See, that's the unique thing about our sport, though, man. That's the unique thing about our sport compared to whether you want to compare it to football, baseball, whatever the case it is. You can go out and you can kind of, like you said, fake it till you make it to a certain extent. But I also think, dude, some guys, they just want to be a part of something. And I get what you're saying about the guys that do what you're saying. They have the funds, they have the money to wrap the boat, wrap the truck, get the jersey, and now they're giving autographs out and have literally never won a tournament. Yeah, dude, it's not a pet peeve, but it is something that makes me scratch my head just because I wouldn't do that. But then who am I to critique or criticize somebody else for doing it? Sure. But I do understand what you're saying without trying to, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, man. I don't know, like they want to be a part of something. Because I have made jokes about guys that wear jerseys at Golden Corral on Tuesday night just because they want to feel like they want to feel like something, to where, like, if that's the only thing they can get out of life is by wearing a jersey and So, oh my God, it's a weird thing, but it doesn't affect my life so much. So I don't know, man. I do know where you're coming from, though.
Yeah.
I'm right there with Fat Cat. Like, yeah, it bugs me a little bit, but at the same time, I can put myself in that guy's shoes, and that guy's paying my bills and every one of y'all's bills.
And he's probably a sweetheart too. He's probably a super nice guy. Probably is a big fan of the sport. Some of them may not be. I have met a few.
Not all the guys with the rap boats.
I agree. Yeah, I learned something. Sometimes the people that aren't what they say. I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Well, you're right. I never got irritated by the guys who are wearing the patches and the jerseys. And I've interviewed many an angler who won a local derby, and I'd say, well, hey, you're sponsored by Zoom. And, well, no, not really. I just have that on my jersey. But the guys who drive me crazy and who have been a pet peeve for me are the guys who, about that same era Travis is talking about, 2006, 2010, they got jerseys for everybody working in their booth at an event like the Classic. And these are just salespeople for a brand. They're not tournament guys. They're not affiliated in any way with the competition, but they're wearing jerseys. And I remember I got a call from a guy saying, hey man, maybe you can come by and take a look at our products, help us get some publicity for them. You know, he's reached out to me as media to help get some exposure. And a couple of times I wandered by his booth at the Classic, and he was always busy. And he called me after the Classic was over, and I said, hey, I tried to stop by. You were always busy. He said, yeah, it was great. I must have signed 500 autographs. I'm thinking, really? You wasted your time? Well, first of all, not all the fans at an event like that are dialed into what's going on in the sport. And second of all, if that's what makes a successful Classic for you, you're not going to be in business long.
Sure.
So I'm not sure what tournament it was, but my family, they all wear my jersey when they come to the tournaments. And I think my wife's uncle and granddad both signed autographs at a tournament one time.
That's great.
In the last couple of years.
That's awesome. I think that's hilarious, because, well, in 2019, Quantum did a survey of the people who attended the Classic Expo in Chattanooga, and only 24 or 25% of the people in attendance knew that Kevin Van Dam was a professional angler.
Wow.
24%.
Yes, 24% of those in attendance knew that Kevin Van Dam was a professional angler.
Where was this at?
Chattanooga. But hey,
Yeah,
don't take a shot at Chattanooga here.
Oh, come on.
That could have been Orlando, or
Nah.
That could have been New Jersey. That could have been Dallas. That could have been anywhere. That's the audience.
Nobody from Jersey's showing up at that thing without knowing. They're going to be at the shore or the casinos.
For Bryan, I can't believe this isn't a pet peeve, and maybe it's not, but let's say you're in the top 10 on the final day of an elite event, and you have that guy on camera in the background fishing. Does that bother you?
If he's in my way, yeah. Yeah, like, go a little deeper with what you're saying.
Well,
annoy the shit out of him. Paint the scenario,
a lot of footage that you see from time to time, even just now that it's all days are live, there's always that dude in the background, right? That's fishing.
Yes.
I have no problem with guys fishing on the body of water. I do. When you guys come up here on the St. Lawrence River, I can't stop guiding for the week, right?
Yeah, you
but
can.
I'm not going to go and approach and know where you guys are going to be fishing and try to catch a bunch of fish before you arrive. I'm going to plan my day differently. But these guys are just out cracking on them, and maybe they want to be on camera catching a fish behind you. I don't know, but that's what it appears like sometimes.
Yes, that makes my blood boil. It does. And I'm going to step on some fans' toes here, and I'm just sorry. It's just how I believe. There's plenty of other places to go fishing. And now I will say this, like, not everybody that fishes follows tournament fishing. Not everybody that bass fishes follows tournament fishing. So maybe those guys probably don't know what they're doing to hinder me or you or anybody else. So do I think they're wrong? Yes. Do they know they're wrong? Maybe not. So, I get kicked off the elites next year. You make the elites. You come to Lake Murray. I'm not going to be on the water while that tournament's going on. Period. If I want to go fishing, I'm going to go to another lake. And I think anybody that follows tournament fishing should not be on the lake when a major event is on that lake. Yes, that bothers me. But once again, there's a lot of people that don't know that they're, I mean, I want to say they're doing wrong, but are they? You know, not really. I mean, they have every right to be there than I do, but it does bother me.
Sure. And that's why I think it's important for the fans to realize, like, if you want to watch, fine, don't pick up a rod. And there's plenty of other areas. And I'm just speaking Lake Ontario, St. Lawrence River. There's plenty of areas to get away from people if you want to enjoy that, you know, that day on the water. If that's the only day you have off that week and you happens to be during an Elite Series event, I totally understand that. But I'm just talking about that guy that needs to be in the camera, you know, behind the leaders.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, you're talking an ocean up there. I mean,
right.
That's an ocean. It's a great lake, but it's an ocean. I live on Lake Murray, and I finished almost dead last when we were here on my home lake this year. Definitely not making excuses. I didn't make the right adjustments, but dude, it was unreal. There's about 1,000 places, probably realistically about 200 places to fish that week of the year. And they're one cast places, and they're points, and they're obvious, and everybody knows about them. And the first day of the tournament, I ran 130 something mile round trip because I couldn't get on a place, and I refused to pull in with somebody.
Sure.
Yeah, it bugs me. And a lot of that was local guys.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I think a pet peeve would be to see a competitor pull up on a guy that's just out fun fishing, thinking that they own that spot as well.
Yeah.
Like that it works both ways, I feel.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, let's forget about tournament fishing. That's what we do. That's what we follow. That's why we're here talking about it. But if you're fun fishing and I'm fun fishing, I'm not going to pull up on you, period. It doesn't matter if I'm in a tournament or not. If you're fun fishing and I'm fun fishing, I'm not going to pull up on you. Bottom of.
Yeah.
Dude, I was fishing the Potomac earlier this year. I had a pretty good pattern, and I was sitting down, and I had exactly, dude, and I had it on braid, right, 65-pound braid. Anyways, I got a little backlash. The reel must have been going bad. When I'd sat down, I was fooling with it. Another boat, and we have a Wednesday night derby here out of Aqua, and one of those boats, Aqua. Well, I wasn't fishing the tournament. One of those boats pulled up, and I knew that's what they were doing. Dude, and they were about a cast and a half away of this little point. Tide was going out. It was just setting up good. And anyways, dude, they pulled up like third cast. Well, I'm trying to get this backlash out. Oh, boy, Jack's a 5-pounder. And, dude, and I was so frustrated because I didn't want to say, hey, I'm fishing there or anything. They didn't know what I was doing. But I went to jerk that backlash out, dude, and when I snatched it, that braid cut right down to my thumb. Because I was so aggravated that my pet peeve was like them rolling up on me and casting within a cast and a half when you have the whole river, but they didn't know. But yeah, that's probably the biggest. that sucks. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that story. I really don't have any other reason. I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, did you get your Amish made swim bait back?
Oh, dude, I don't run out of those. I got them all over the place. Okay. Yeah.
So Fat Cat, in '87, when you won the Classic, you didn't have a bunch of fishermen around you, behind you, any of that stuff?
No, they knew better, dude. I had nunchucks with me. I had it all. They knew better than to come close because I get down with a get down.
Fat Cat, if I recall, you won the Classic twice that year.
I had it back to back in the July of '87. It was a good year.
Yeah, it's a big year. A lot of people.
George Cochranoff.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people mistakenly think Cochran won that year and in '96, but
they don't know. Dude, I've had people several different. They'll change the Wikipedia thing. Hey man, I fixed it. Well, Wikipedia has him winning, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen Fat Cat's interview with a local news station at a Classic quite a few years ago, it is I think the funniest fishing thing I've ever seen. Yeah,
appreciate it, fellas.
Thing I've ever seen on YouTube.
So I'm fairly young. I'm 33 And I don't remember people fishing on top of each other when I was growing up. I don't remember
Oh yeah.
when I first started traveling. I started fishing FW as a co-angler in 2012. And even the ledge tournaments in 2012, I don't remember that. Now it was soon after. It was soon after, and it seems like it's just got more and more, and it's accepted more. And
I think it's accepted more, Bry, because there's cameras. So everybody's got cameras. So nobody will physically challenge somebody. There's nothing, there's no price to pay. Like Ike talks about his first ever time fishing a pro-am. He was in Denny Brower's boat, first ever time fishing and right first thing in the morning, Brower goes over and chases Tommy Biffle off a riprap, like 100 and something yards long, flew on pad from one end of the riprap to the other to curse him out up and down and threaten his ass and get him out of there. Now with cell phones and GoPros, guys are afraid to do that stuff. So yeah, maybe it's getting a little more prevalent. Maybe.
And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's just the whole world's is ruined nowadays.
Yeah.
People can do
as the old guy.
There's no etiquettes. And it's not. I'm talking the whole world, not just fishing.
No, it's a problem in every.
You don't
arena.
matter. I do.
Yeah. Well, I can say this as the old guy on the panel here. I can tell you that. Well, first of all, the number of anglers in the late 80s, early 90s was equivalent to what it is now, but the population wasn't nearly as big. And back then, there was a lot of hole jumping. There was a lot of people moving in on things because so much more of our game was just visual. What you could see, the lay down over here, the stump field over there, the boat docks. Whereas today, the average angler is a lot more sophisticated and he's more likely to be able to find his own fish. Back when I started, there used to be a saying that 10% of the fishermen catch 90% of the fish. And I believe it was true. I don't think it's true anymore. But yeah, there was hole jumping even then. But I think manners generally are a lot worse today than they were. But
yeah, it definitely seems like it.
Yeah, it's a shame. And I grew up fishing Lake Murray, and we line up to fish that rock off the edge of Saluda Island, where there was always a good one. You know where I'm talking about.
Hey, I don't want to talk about Lake Murray.
Okay, sorry.
I don't want to listen about Lake Murray.
Okay, I didn't know it was on the schedule. But there was a lot of hole jumping even then, even among my bass club, which was 8 guys in high school. There'd be hole jumping on 50,000 acre Lake Murray. It was just stupid. Yeah. But some of that is just giving your buddies a hard time, and some of that is bad manners, and it's always a problem. Travis, you got more pet peeves?
Yeah, what do you got, Trav?
Travis is loaded for bear here.
What about long arming? Do you guys hate when people long arm on social media?
No, but the surprise face thing.
To get a good picture of the fish, to see it and look and present it properly, that's the way you take a picture. You don't hold it like this.
Right.
You hold that sucker out, you hide your fingers, you make it look beautiful and gorgeous. Or if you're going to hold it horizontally, hold it this way and then turn it just a little bit towards the camera. Okay? That's how you take a good fish picture. That's a pet peeve of mine, is shitty fish pictures. And long arming is perfectly fine.
Don't
brag about it. Don't say it's a 8-pound smallmouth when it's 4 because you're long. You can tell. You can see the forehead on that fish. I know how big that fish is. Okay.
But you don't have to do that with a 2-pounder. You don't have to do that with every fish that comes in the boat.
Who takes a picture of a 2-pounder? Long arm a 2-pounder.
Every millennial does.
All right.
Make it look big.
Those are selfies. They don't have anyone taking a picture for them. So they have to do it that way, right? When they go like that.
Well, there's that with the selfie stuff, but I'm talking about all these people who are taking pictures of their food and who take pictures of stuff like that.
Long arm food
of 2-pounders.
I don't know.
Make this sausage look real big.
I'm gonna start long arming my food.
Well, I know you guys have some. See, one of my pet peeves is just so pedestrian, but But get behind that guy at the ramp who waits until his boat is almost back down to the water before he decides, oh, I guess I should get everything organized now.
Or the guy that backs down in the morning when it's still dark with the bright lights on, so now nobody else can back down. They got to get their eyeballs burned out.
Because forever I could not figure out how to turn my lights off. Like,
oh, you're that guy.
And people would yell at me, and I'm like,
why is everybody yelling at me?
Listen, fat cat, if you can't back a boat or drive in a parking lot because someone's headlights are on, then you don't deserve, you shouldn't be there. That's my pet peeve. Don't
all right, simmer down.
I turn my lights off now, okay? But
all right, thank you.
See, get the fuck out of here.
Who showed you how?
Well, I have a different truck now, so I can just turn the button.
So you got rid of that truck and got to know that you can figure the lights out?
Yeah, don't get mad at me because my lights are on, bud. Figure out how to back your boat in.
All right. I hear you, buddy. Don't get mad when you come back to the parking lot and you got 2 busted headlights. Jeez.
That's the appropriate cure. I like it.
Yeah, that actually got me fired up.
Dude, Bryan, what about you, man, as far as co-anglers? Like, as if when you were a co-angler and then when you do have co-anglers or had co-anglers, any pet peeves? Let's start from a co-angler's point of view when you would co.
Yeah.
What was a pet peeve of yours that the boater would do to you, like backboating you or just whatever?
Yeah.
So, whenever I started fishing co-angler in 2006, I was 16 years old in the BFLs. And I fished co-angler until I think 2017 on FLW tour. So 11 years I did it on every level. And I always did it the right way. The man in the front of the boat, this is his ball game. I'm just along for the ride. I'm still a competitor. I'm going to still bust my ass to try to win the tournament, do the best I possibly
Would you bring 16 rods, a lunchbox, 2 tackle bags?
I brought a lot of stuff, but it was never in the man's way. It was never in the man's way. My pet peeve on that is you don't mess with that man up there. You don't, if he's fishing around a pocket, if he's going down a bank, you don't try to throw to the other side of the pocket. And I've had co-anglers do that to me, and I chapped their butt. And a couple times we almost got in fist fights, like called the tournament director. It was bad. I had one guy tell me to take him back to the ramp. And it was a $10,000 tournament on Lake Wiley, and it was an ABA. So in the ABAs, if there's more, it's like the Opens. If there's more boaters than co-anglers, you could go out by yourself. So I told him I would take him back if the tournament director said I could still fish. If not, he was going to stay in the boat. Called the tournament director, and he said, yeah, that's fine. So this is funny. So I kick off. I'm going to take him back to the ramp. It's like 2 miles away. And the last 2 pockets I've been in, a buddy of mine, Robbie Dye, pulled into those pockets and seen I was there and went on to the next one. So I got done with those 2, and I'm taking him back towards the ramp, and I look over to the right. I said, oh, God, I can't not go fish that one. Robbie Dye's going to fish it before I get back. So the ramp's to the left. I veer back off to the right, set the boat down, and I swear to God, when I set the boat down, he looked at me and said, if you don't take me back, this is kidnapping. And this was a 60-some-year-old man.
Oh, my God.
So I fished the pocket. I told him he needed to just cool down. He'd lost his damn mind. And I took him back to the ramp, and I was so glad to get him out of my boat.
The ex-lawyer in me.
That's crazy.
The ex-lawyer in me, Bryan.
I'm a kidnapper.
Yeah, well, hey, I used to be a lawyer, and he may have been right. I'm just
Travis,
saying.
how many people have you kidnapped?
Yes, a good
Just
point.
one.
So, I've never kidnapped anyone. I did have someone on Oneida when we had Wayne was at a beach. He basically he had a rough day with me, and he packed his stuff up as I was getting a weigh-in bag. I wasn't on the dock. I had to walk up to the beach, jump in the water. And as I was coming to the boat, he had his bag and his poles, and he jumped in the water with his pants on and walked to the parking lot, and I'd never seen the guy again. So I don't know.
Did they let you weigh in? Because some places won't let you weigh in after that.
No, somehow we did.
Did you get your gas money?
What's that?
Did you get your gas money?
No. I slept half the day.
Ugh.
And that's another thing, real quick. The co-angler's tackle bag. So as a boater and like whether it be a BFL or an ABA, I'm going to take the back compartment behind the seat, behind the passenger seat. That's going to be, I'm not one of those boaters that has their flares and their anchors and stuff in there. It's empty. I tell the guy the night before, you got a whole compartment, fit all your shit in there. I don't want a bag on the floor. I'm going to make a long run. I'm going to be maneuvering around. Put your stuff in the back compartment. Don't bring a tackle bag on the boat. Do not leave your bag on the boat as a co-angler.
You would have cussed me. And here's the deal. Like, I brought a lot of stuff. I know a lot of guys are exactly like you. Me as well. I'm very particular about how things are in my boat, as I've said. That being said, even though I brought a lot of stuff, I made sure it was never, ever, ever in your way. If we're smallmouth fishing, I'm going to get it out of the way because you may need to go right there to land a fish. But yeah, co-angler don't have nowhere to put no tackle in my boat. I've got it full.
Wow.
But I will say though, if you told me that, I would do everything I could to, respect what, your wishes were. Because I'm going, I'm the co-angler. I'm going in your boat.
Yeah. And here's another tip as a boater. Always keep the back seat up, whether they want it or not, because that'll make them, that'll get in their way more oftentimes than not. And maybe they'll save you, maybe you'll be able to catch that fish he was going to. I'm joking, kind of.
I don't think you are.
All right, Travis, when somebody gets in your boat, whether it's a guide client or a co-angler, what's a red flag that you're going to have trouble? Other than he jumps in like you were telling us about earlier.
No. So co-angler, it's totally different between a guide and a co-angler. The co-angler, I'm going to have a quick discussion with him in the morning. I'm going to say, listen, we're going to have a great day. Make sure you fit all your stuff in the back compartment I have for you. Here's the handle. I'll tell him what I'm going to do, how far I'm going to run, what I'm expecting to happen today. And I'm going to just tell him, listen, I'm very concentrated on this tournament. I want to do well. I'm a great guy, but I'm not really going to be talking a whole lot today. I'm not going to be, having a conversation with you. Once I get a good limit, I'll probably loosen up, have a little bit of fun, but I'm real serious for the first couple of hours here. And so I try to set that tone to that co-angler so he understands, because another pet peeve, I guess, would be the co-angler trying to talk to you while you're making that cast. Like, I have bad hearing enough. If I'm out there in the wind and I'm trying to concentrate and look at fish and make accurate casts to these fish, present that bait accurately, do everything I can to catch that fish, I don't need to hear some guy, talking to me about a ship he sees or whatever it is. Like, because then I have to turn around, lose concentration for a second, and it's always what? Because I didn't understand what he said, right? So I'm like, what? And he's got to explain it. And so I try to set that tone right away. Now, a guide trip, man, I am accommodating to their needs, whatever they want, we're going to do. It's a total different atmosphere in my boat, a guide trip versus a tournament setting. Listen, I've met some great friends as co-anglers. I've had co-anglers do really well. I've talked to a lot of people think I'm anti co-angler, but I like to just set the tone that this isn't some, friendly little buddy trip where I try to compete, and less talk, the better of an angler I am. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Fat Cat, this is totally off the record. We're blocking Luke Duncan from watching this episode. Give us your favorite Luke pet peeve, something he does when you guys are working that just drives you up the wall. I know there's got.
Oh wow,
spicy.
Hey, I'm a Luke Duncan fan. I'm a Luke Duncan fan.
Everybody is.
Surely there's something.
Oh, dude, he doesn't miss.
Then I'll tell you all the BTC things that make me crazy.
Yeah, I would say, dude, you put me on a spot. What is my pet peeve about him working together? The dude just doesn't miss. Like, he doesn't mess up. He doesn't leave me a gap to fill in and to look better than him. He's always on. He doesn't shut up. That's probably pet peeve. He won't shut up.
Ironically, that's exactly BTC's complaint about me is I don't shut up. I don't leave him too many opportunities to speak, but it's because he abandons the show. Look, there's nobody there.
Dude, that's what he does.
I was trying to turn the heat on. It got cold in here.
So I'm fishing a team tournament on Clarks Hill Saturday with my buddy Dave Rush. Y'all may know him.
Oh yeah. Say hey to Dave. Great guy.
He just texted me and asked if I'm going to have the Travis Betts and co-angler talk with him Saturday morning.
You should absolutely do it. If his stuff won't fit in that back compartment, which you'll have to clear out for him, then he doesn't get in the boat. It's just that
right.
simple.
Yeah. He's not going to need all of that.
But it is okay if he backs your boat down and he has the brights on. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the one backing the next trailer down, so whatever.
I got a pet peeve. You guys fishing tournaments in December.
What's wrong with that?
BTC's in
December
Canada.
up here.
Because there's no tournaments up here.
Yeah, the lakes are half frozen. Or they used to freeze.
Whose
Bust
fault is
through it.
that? Yeah.
Hey, dude, on Lake Norman, I don't know about Bryan, like right now, I was down Lake Norman. It's probably been 4 years ago. This time of the year, it was snowing, and the dudes, I want to say it was Lake Norman, they were catching 20-pound bags of spot at 1 o'clock in the morning, midnight, on red chatterbaits. Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
That's what is
The
it?
colder, the better.
With the chatterbait, though.
Probably, yeah. More than likely. I don't really get into the night fishing thing a lot. Like, I've fished a lot of night tournaments in my day. I've won a lot of night tournaments, but typically won them before it got dark.
That's not a night tournament.
Huh?
That's a dusk tournament.
I mean,
Well,
I guess whatever you want to
right.
call
My
it.
bad.
It's like
I
partially.
apologize.
We call
Dude,
them
them boys down
nighters.
south are different. I know we're about to wrap this up, but them boys down south, when it comes to the night tournaments, they will go to Walmart and buy some spotlights, get some drywall screws, screw it to the bow of the boat, hardwire it back to the battery, and they're running a gun and bebopping and flip-flopping with 210-watt spotlights. It's wild, dude. Them boys
I
down
got another
south.
pet peeve.
What is it?
Everything you assume that everything cool and is redneck, and only the boys in the South can do that.
No, I know
Because
you had
shit
a
goes
Ranger
on
on
up here,
38s.
man.
Correct.
You had a
Shit goes
Ranger
on
on
up here.
38s, man. I know.
Everything
Why
good
are
and
you
decent
getting all
is sold
defensive?
fast
Why
fishing
are you?
stuff.
Just because I said the only thing good to ever leave
boys
New
in the
Jersey was
South
an
are so
empty
cool.
bus. I mean,
What's the
geez, bro.
So I want to see Bryan the Carpenter and Fat Cat. No,
Cage match.
maybe not. Yes, that sounds a lot better than where I
No,
was going to go.
Never.
I'm down.
You weren't going to go Jello wrestling, were you, Bryan?
Yes, I was, but then I got
Let's
to think
go.
about it. No, I really don't want to see that.
We'll get crazy, man.
Take them snakehead fishing, Fat Cat. Get that 3-wheeler going. Hook your John boat up on the back, and take it down to the bank and go.
Yeah. You need to come on down south to the good old boys and do a little bit of snaking. But with that being said, the new world record was caught up your way. So the new world record was caught. I think is it caught in Delaware?
Really?
I forget the name.
Wow.
Yeah. It's 21 pounds even. It was caught by I think his name is Damian Cook, Cool Cat kayak angler. He's up there. I forget the name of the river, dude. I think it's right
Kayak
around Delaware.
anglers.
Dude, yeah. I mean,
They're setting records now, bro.
I ain't mad at him, man. But yeah, 21-pound snakehead, new world record. I don't think it's been certified yet, but it will be.
That's dope. That just happened?
Yeah, this past summer.
Okay. How'd he catch
I think
it?
it happened like in June or July. Probably a swim bait. I don't know, dude. Don't get me lying. I don't know. Double-headed, 18-inch double-headed jelly dong, something like that.
Kayakers who get between me and what I'm throwing at. That's a pet too, by the
There's
way.
another one.
Yeah. It's
All right,
it's never the angling kayakers either. It's always the guys out there joyriding on kayaks. I mean, I've never had an issue out of angler kayakers. Typically, they just try to get where they can get. Bless their hearts. When you see them working their way across the lake and they're going to that one lay down, and you wait for them to get about 50 yards from it, and you just come off pad right as he gets there, just cast.
I'm surprised we didn't bring up just pleasure boaters when you're out fishing. And here's my take on it. I've seen so much craziness out there that it really doesn't faze me. I actually enjoy that interaction sometimes. Just because it blows my mind, the stuff that they'll do. How, and here's to their defense, right? We know where our waypoints are. We know that hump comes up to 8 feet of water, 50 yards that way, whatever the case. We're working our way up there, and they just plow over with their whatever those things are, their inboards, right? But does that bother you guys at all? Or how do you handle that? Or we're just used to it because we see it all the time.
You just got to expect stupidity.
Yeah.
And I will say that I think you should have to have a boating license. You should have to take a class to get a boat. Take a class to get a boating license, just like you do.
Don't you have to now?
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah, I mean, not everywhere.
Not so.
Oh, you don't?
Now.
Brian, you might need to check into that.
I know, right? Like
I do have it. My wife took the class for me online.
Oh, no, that's cool, man.
What's that?
There we go.
My pet peeve,
Nathan,
guys,
cut
who
that-
there we go.
let their wives take classes for them. That's a
No, but seriously, I mean, there's so many people on the water. Typically, I would say at least 70% of the pleasure boaters do not need to be driving a boat. And
I'm
it's
with you
not
there.
they just don't know any better. That's bottom line. They just don't know any better. It's not like they're complete idiots. They just don't know better.
We're lucky in Florida because we don't have that many. Believe it or not, we don't have that many kayak fishermen in Florida because the alligators keep the numbers down. So that's one of the nice things about gators.
Come on.
Whew. Yeah, I'm not going kayaking with the gators.
No.
If you ever want to have a good time on YouTube, search alligator kayak.
Oh, yeah.
It will keep you out of a kayak, I assure you.
Hmm.
Well, guys, I hate to wrap this up. I've really enjoyed visiting with all you guys, but
This was
We
fun.
didn't get too rowdy.
it's been a blast.
Not too
I
bad.
thought we were going to. I think
It was a good time.
We got Fat Cat going there for a minute.
That cat was going there for a little bit. We didn't get through a third of Travis's list, and
Does anybody here? Do you have like one specific pet peeve that stands out? You would call your number one?
I'm definitely the cheating thing. Definitely the cheating.
with regard to that, is it just simply the cheating, or the fact that it's not enforced effectively, or
No, it's all the way around. I mean, if you're going to stoop to the level to cheat, if you're going to risk everything, risk your
But dude, here's
reputation,
they don't
if
enforce
you're
it.
But
gonna
here's
risk
the
your career,
deal. And it's not just the person cheating that's being affected. It's everyone that's affiliated with them that also gets brought down with their poor decision as well. So I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah. So there was a guy, and to your point, there's a guy, he won a Bass Open a couple years ago. And growing up my entire life, I'm talking 6, 7 years old, hanging out at a tackle store, I always heard the story about this guy named Bryan that was always cheated, but nobody ever proved it. And then somewhere around 2012, BFL at Lake Wiley, they finally busted Bryan for cheating, putting like 13, 14 ounce weight in a fish. And obviously he's banned from fishing. Now his son's fishing. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's a cheater or not. I'm not saying what I really want to say, but he carries that weight. He's known as a cheater now because of his dad.
That sucks.
that's a shame. That's unfair. Hopefully unfair.
And I'm not saying he is, and I'm
Right.
not saying he's not.
Well, let's
But-
assume he's not innocent until proven guilty.
Thanks for
Correct.
clarifying.
Yeah.
You're right.
I want to
Again,
bring
Brian,
up.
Can you come back
lawyer
every
in me.
week?
Huh?
Brian, are you available every Thursday?
I can be. You just hit me up.
Well, until we get
Because-
sued. Brian's
Yes,
available
I'm
until we
probably
get
gonna
sued.
get sued this week.
Yeah, it's bass fishing. Nothing ever happens. We already discussed that.
But I haven't said anything that I couldn't prove.
There you
That's
go.
correct.
Oh, guys, again, thank you so much. This has been a really good time.
Travis,
Guys,
Just real quick.
real quick, Ken.
uh-oh,
Pet peeve.
sorry.
Real quick.
Back to weed police. I just want to make a couple points.
The weed police, they live inside of
Here's
us,
what
eh?
they're doing when they interview you and they ask you like where you were fishing, where you found your milfoil, things like that. What they're doing is they're taking all this information back to the guy, right? The elites of the lake, and what they're doing is they're giving that information. That's where they're going to concentrate their spraying and killing the milfoil. So do not talk to the weed police. In fact, I find it's a game now. My game is I put the boat on the trailer, I get in the truck, and I'll drive 3 blocks away before I even start hooking the boat back up or whatever. I get out of the way. So like I don't even stop by the ramp. I don't even stop 50 feet away. Or if I do, it's 200 feet. So I can watch him walk with his clipboard all the way over to me. And then guess what? Can I ask you a couple questions? No, you cannot. And they walk away. They're taking
Talk to my lawyer.
and they're killing the grass in our lakes. I'm telling you
No
right now.
habla
That's what's
inglés.
happening. All right.
No habla inglés.
You try giving them like bad information, like send them to like, I don't know, where you're competitive, where your guy
No,
that
but
you
that's what
compete
they're
against.
doing, guys. That's a topic for your show, maybe. Like if you, on a serious note, some of the things that they're doing in the lakes, as far as destroying vegetation and trying to cater to the homeowners or the swimmers or the recreational boaters on that body of water by killing the grass. I think that would be a good topic for the future. But that's what happens around here. They're gathering information to determine whether or not they should spray in that specific body of water for the most part. Okay. Yeah, they're concerned. First of all, there's gobies, there's zebra mussels everywhere up here in New York. Okay. It's not going to matter if I decide to drive the Cayuga tomorrow with this boat. There's more waterfowl right now transporting gobies and zebra mussels on their feet, right? On their bodies.
And COVID.
Everything. Yeah. Mask up. All right. I'm done.
Top 10.
Yeah, we got top 10 coming up. Fat Cat Newton. Everybody needs to be looking out for Fat Cat on NPFL. Fabulous.
That's right, dude. Yeah, hey, man. First event of the year will kick off February 1st. Logan Martin. So make sure you guys tune in. TNPFL.com.
Got some old names joining your league coming out this year who are going to be fishing. A lot of star power over NPFL.
Stay tuned because the roster should be coming out November. No, I'm lying to you. Maybe January 2nd. So in a few days, we will be releasing the 2024 roster for the NPFL.
Oh, okay.
I've got one.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It is crazy to see going into season 4. Like it's been a wild ride, dude. And we're hitting season 4. We hit that extra gear. We had a great year this year. Going to 24, we're going to lock the hubs and dump the clutch and try to keep it between the ditches.
Really impressive stuff. Always enjoy you and Luke.
Yeah, one more. Look at this. I want y'all to look at it. Where's it at? Right there. Right there. Woods the Water Outdoors. Go to woodsthewateroutdoors.com, Bobby, and get you a scope shirt. Our boy Paul Benson had a good idea for scope shirts. Carpenter, you should be pushing those, but you're just not a good friend, so you don't. Whatever.
You're supposed to send me something.
Whatever. No, that's cool, but no.
Address.
Appreciate you guys for having me on. I enjoyed it. It was a good time, better than what I was anticipating. So,
All right, the last
Say hey
thing,
to Paul, one of the great gentlemen of our sport. Yes, Bryan New.
Is you hear so much negativity. People always bitching about something. There's no money in the industry. I can't get sponsored. I can't get this. I can't make a living. Dude, Fat Cat's a perfect example. I don't know how many years ago it was, but nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, Bryan New didn't know who Fat Cat Newton was. And then you started seeing all these videos and you laughed your ass off. And now he's, one of the commentators for a professional fishing league. He made it from nothing. So if you work
built his own space, created his own opportunity,
you'll make your way. So quit.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate you saying that, man. That does. I get chills, man, because it does mean a lot. And thank you, my friend. I won't forget you said that about me.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell Fat Cat story real quick. So, 3-wheeler, short shorts. That was the first time I experienced Fat Cat, and we could not stop watching videos, man. So, love it.
Oh man, appreciate that, dude. I appreciate you, Travis.
This is not a shot at at Fat Cat's content creation, but he did win 2 classics in '87.
Back
So
to
that
back.
Sure.
back to back. That
But
But
helped
see,
a
I
Holy
didn't
lot.
know that. I didn't know that until a few years ago. It's probably been
Yeah.
more than a few years ago now, but he
So-
made
Well, they
it.
stopped putting the names up in the arenas at the Classic.
I know.
So
Pissed me off.
You know, you go to work for NPFL and suddenly they want to try to forget about you. It's unfair.
I know, man. Politics, brother. Politics. It's wait till I start running for office.
Oh, you got my vote, brother. Always. Fat Cat Newton, thank you, sir. We
Appreciate y'all, boys.
Thanks,
Toodles.
Brian.
Travis
See you, buddy.
Manson Smallmouth Crush, Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Do not miss it. It is a delight. They talk fishing. They talk the big reset. There is very little that is out of bounds on Smallmouth Crush, and that's what I love about it.
thank you. Do you guys have an after hour on this show? Because I'm ready.
I'm ready for
Travis,
bed.
it's an eternal battle.
Okay,
We have time limit. It costs money so anyhow.
I got you.
Yes, Ken, as you could see, they did not want to get off tonight.
I apologize. I'm trying to
I
live up
know,
to
we
what
got-
we
we got time
represented to our
limits.
guest, that we got about a 90-minute show, but lately it's run long. But Travis Manson, thank you, brother. Also
Thanks for having
me.
guiding on the best smallmouth waters
Absolutely.
on the planet. So if you're up around Lake Ontario, up around St. Lawrence River, that's the man.
And
wanna-
we expanded walleye, brown, salmon, steelhead, waterfall. We do it all up here now.
Trouser
That's
trout.
fantastic. How can they reach you, Travis?
Best way is on my website, smallmouthcrush.com.
Don't let
Fantastic.
those elite guys call you.
Oh, they will be. I promise.
Jesus.
Well,
Thank
hey,
you, Travis Manson.
call them out.
Yeah, call him out.
Grow a
Call him
pair.
out. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate you, brother.
Enjoyed it, dude.
Thanks, Trav.
Bryan I haven't known Bryan a long time, but he's already become one of my favorite guys in the Elite Series.
Yes,
The guy
he
I'm always
has.
checking the standings for. You're awesome, Bryan New. Thank you for your time and contributions tonight. We really appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all having me on. It's a few weeks ago, whenever, I'm not sure, one of the first ones y'all did, I watched it and I actually text Bryan and I said, dude, this is the best thing that's on in fishing, YouTube, podcast, whatever. It's awesome and I've had a good time. I can sit and talk about fishing all time, all day long, all night long, even though it's 2 hours past my bedtime, 2.5 at this point. I can keep going. But no, have me on anytime, man. I'm glad you reached out, and yeah. And sometimes if you hit a nerve, you'll get me really rolling.
Hey, we're gonna have you back soon, and we're gonna hit that nerve. We're gonna find it. We won't need live scope for that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you, brother. We appreciate you.
All right, you were awesome
See that
tonight.
top
Thank you.
10.
Coming up.
Yeah, top 10 coming right up. BTC, what's your number one pet peeve?
Podcasts with time limits. No, I'm kidding.
I know. That's the constant behind the scenes battle on Bass After Dark.
Yes.
I'm trying to keep us around 90 minutes. BTC wants us to stay under 6 hours. He doesn't care.
Hey, yeah, I just kind of read the room and go with the flow. You know what I mean? Go with the flow. No big deal, Ken. It was a good time, and that was fun. That was really fun.
That was fun.
I told you I had a hunch on Bryan New, right? And you said go with your hunch. And it's a weird mix.
Oh,
Fat Cat,
I've-
Travis, Bryan New.
I've been a fan of Bryan New since before I met him, just seeing some of the stuff he had done on video and all, and certainly watching his track record, very impressive. But yeah, he's living in the same town I grew up in, a little town called Saluda, South Carolina, and just a wonderful guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
It was
always
awesome
enjoy
tonight.
Travis and Fat Cat. They're a lot of fun. You can't not have a good conversation with those guys.
Yes. Yes. The Duke keeps it classy. This is true.
I don't know who would
ran you
say
through
that,
one
but
tonight, Ken.
That was fun. That was a really good time. Now, to change subjects just a little bit, are we still talking the intern thing? And
Oh yeah, I mean, if somebody shows up and would love to have an intern over here. Ken's it's got a lot to offer. What do you got to offer, Ken? No money.
well, we got a few connections. We can get you into some interesting places in the fishing world,
That's
and show you a side of our sport that maybe not a lot of people get to see. So I hope that has some advantages. And we know a lot of people in the fishing industry. So if somebody's interested in a career, we might be able to introduce you to some opportunities. So there's that.
In ICAST, you can sit on Ken's knee at
No, you
ICAST.
can't do that. No,
Can't do that.
No.
The other way around. No. Sorry about that.
I don't want to wrinkle the smoking jacket. You know,
It's fantastic.
smoking.
It's getting legs, Ken. There's some guys were asking me about it, and do we have, other costumes? I said, yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, just trying to build a brand around this for right now, but I do hope to be introducing a second smoking jacket to the arsenal. I think it'll be mostly red and black, perhaps. But yeah, this ironically, this outfit was part of the original concept for the show.
Indeed.
But just being the best dressed guy in bass fishing means the world to me.
Yeah, it's a little blue for our brand, but I'd like to see something a little more purple.
This was the closest they had to purple.
Well, who's they?
I don't know.
The elites?
I shouldn't have said that.
I don't know.
Yeah, the big reset. We got real quick, because the rest of the show goes kind of quick. We've had a lot of positive reaction to our shows, and a lot of people seem to be watching, and we really appreciate each and every one of you who has watched the show, and a lot of people have been kind enough to hit the like button, but what's a little disappointing to me is fewer than 20% of the folks who watch our show and even who like the show are actually subscribing. And it would mean a lot to Nathan and Bryan and myself if you would subscribe to the show. We're trying to grow this thing. The more subscribers we have, the more views we have, and so forth, the easier it becomes for us to get the kind of outstanding guests that we have been getting, and to have the kind of conversations, and to be even more bold moving forward. Because the bigger we are and the more powerful the show is seen as, then the more people will realize that even though Bryan and I are having a good time on camera here, we're still trying to have a good conversation. And we stick to our goal of the best conversation in bass fishing, the most illuminating. And also we want to be inch for inch and pound for pound the best show out there.
Indeed we do. So Ken's the numbers guy, and he will find you.
I will hunt you down like an animal.
That's right.
No. Well, we got a couple of things left, including a new element. But first, But
the top 10 reasons we're glad that 2023 is over. This was a tough one. We worked hard on it. Top 10's proving to be very difficult, but I digress. Nathan, when you're ready, the top 10 reasons 2023 we're glad that it's over.
The top 10 reasons we're glad 2023 is over. Number 10, only 3 more days for MLF to change its rules again. Number 9, the Biden administration has already done as much damage as possible in 1 calendar year. Number 8, no more Guggen-wrapped boats. Number 7, we're tired of choosing pronouns, ready to switch to adjectives. Number 6, watching the ball drop is almost as fun as watching Jacob Fouts' few remaining sponsors drop him. Number 5, another year of acting like all this is normal. Number 4, things can't get any worse, right? Right? Number 3, the average elite angler is an expert with FFS. The average NPFL angler is a member of AARP. Number 2, Backer, Goad, and Welcher. Are those anglers of the year or an ambulance-chasing law firm? And the number 1 reason we're glad 2023 is over, we're looking forward to Groundhog Day and whether or not Matt Robertson sees his shadow.
I do like the Groundhog Day joke.
Yeah. Well, there was our last top 10 of 2023. Next week's show, Ken.
Yes.
This is going to be
next week's show.
Freaking awesome one.
I'm with you. January we've already got
4th.
Yep. And it's all about the Sonar lunar tables, those fishing tables that we've all seen. If you're like me, you've seen them for 50 years, 60 years now. But our solar and lunar tables for real. And we've got an amazing panel to talk about
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
We got all our A-listers. Again, folks are really going to enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that one because there's people that swear by it. Guys that think it's nonsense. How it plays with big fish, and we've got a big fish guy coming on.
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome. I'm really, really excited for that one. And that's next week, January 4th, right?
Yes, it is. In fact, without giving away too much, we've got a guy who creates those kind of tables. We've got a guy who guides for giant bass. We've got a scientist. We're hitting it from all the important and relevant angles. So I think it's going to be great. And a little shout out to Nathan Benson, who is the voice of our top 10. Nathan is our partner who makes sure that we get out there and y'all actually can see and hear us. He is our engineer, and it is not easy to herd me and BTC and get us where we need to be and doing what we need to do. But Nathan takes care of all that. An amazing partner
Faceless
for us.
Nathan.
Yes, Faceless Nathan. And BTC real quick, I want to special thanks to James Riley for the best logo in the business and to Ron Stallings for the smoothest intro.
Yes.
And
This, that, and the third.
with that, man, I want to send things your way if you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to take a moment. I think it's what was this show 7 or 8? Is it?
Yeah, 7. This is 7.
7. All right. All right. So we're closing out here 2023, which is show 7. And I just kind of wanted to reflect a little bit and send some thanks. I keep it brief because I think most people probably know, but I grew up, what Mike Iaconelli, we met when we were 6th grade, 11 or 12 years old. Grew up Mike, best friends, for a long time. And about 10 years ago, he decided to do this podcast thing and asked me to come along and do it. And I said, sure, and that kind of drug me into his world. I've always been his buddy and always loved to bass fish. We started a fishing club right out of high school. And that's why we became friends way back when we were 11 or 12. We were one of 4 that, all like to fish that were in the high school or school at that time. But anyhow, so, spent the last better part of 10 years now, producing Ike Live and then Bass U after that with Pete Glusick and it was awesome. And I just wanted to thank those guys. I wanted to thank Mike and Pete, for bringing me into their world. And, here I am now doing this with Ken, who I admire tremendously. And it's been a fun ride. So I love the show. Thank you so much, Ken, for bringing me in. Well, thank you as well. And for introducing me to Faceless Nathan. He's doing a hell of a job. And this is awesome. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And this is a really fun show. So thank you.
Oh my
Thanks,
gosh.
Mike,
No,
Pete, Ken, Nate, you guys watching. Thank you.
I can't imagine Ike Live or Bass University without you. I mean, that's when I think of those shows, I think of you. And I assure everybody that Bass After Dark would not exist if Bryan the Carpenter had not agreed to do the show. Wouldn't be here. So thanks, you.
Ken.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Yep. Happy New Year's, everybody. Hope you had a great Christmas. Happy New Year. And yeah, we'll see you guys in a week.